Hold on. Something. Something in the way. What's good, YouTube? What's up, family? What's up, newcomers? Welcome to the channel, man. Sit back, relax, stand up, walk, run, lay down, shower, whatever. Let's sit back and enjoy this video, man. Zoey 101 and Victorious were the same show. I don't think so. I told you, I was a Nick kid. I was all the kids. Because, I watched everything. Disney, Nick, Cartoon Network. I already explained the debate. I've been said it in a lot of videos. Cartoon Network had the best TV shows, right? Boom. Disney had the best teen movies, right? Jump In, Cheetah Girls. That's the only two that I remember. But yeah, them, stuff like that. And Nick had the best teen sitcoms. Nobody not messing with Nick with it. Zoey 101, Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victorious, Keenan and Kel, all that. I can keep going, even though I forgot half of it. Let's get it. Let's go. And I loved both of these shows. I'm happy. Let's get it.
So it's interesting when two shows share a lot of similarities, not only with the characters, but with its tone, its jokes, and so much more. Normally you would excuse this as, oh, it's the same writers, it's the same
Hey, they was all bad, man.
creator, it's like all these things. But it's really a lot more than that. It's like a crew of like 50 to 100 people on two different shows that are good and bad at different things. Zoey 101 being great at its story structure and character arc, but horrible in its tone of being a drama over comedy, not knowing what to do with the characters after they develop them. And Victorious, where there's no structure at all.
Sorry, look bad in here. 10.
Usually, with characters not afraid to go out of their already written personality. And you could argue for both ones being really successful. And they were. Like, both shows were Nickelodeon's, like, golden shows. So I want to kind of dive into how similar these pilots are, because it's almost insulting if you watch them back to back, like I did. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny 2000, and today we're going to be diving into some of the 2000s pilots, Victorious and Zoey 101. So let's get into this. Okay, for the pilot of Zoey 101, we have Welcome to PCA. Fairly simple title. It starts off.
I loved it. It wasn't CGI. I'm hoping that it was. I think it was on a real campus, and that's the thing. When they make the production off a real life event, just like on Friday, that was a real neighborhood, it's just so much better instead of just a movie studio. I'm out of breath.
It's off.
What's going on?
With the blonde family driving down the Pacific Coast Highway.
You can't hold it for just 5 more minutes?
Okay, 20 ounces of water and 10 ounces black. Stop the car!
We don't really get a feel for the kids' personalities, which is going to be a recurring issue, as you'll see. The dad's worried about dropping him off, and we meet Chase as he hits a flagpole on a bike. He says he'll show them around, but at first the dad doesn't trust him, and then he just gives away his daughter to this random teenage boy, which is pretty accurate for parents of the 2000s.
Yeah, you know he was rich too, so that don't matter. I mean, I don't understand how he's in the college too. I don't even know how old he was, like 10. So
I didn't mean to walk you there.
No, that's
just do it.
be great.
We essentially get like a tour of PCA, and it seems really awesome. I feel like the whole aesthetic of the show is what sells it. This whole private boarding school idea. And even though Dustin looks a little young to be a part of it, it's still exciting if you're a kid and want to live on your own. It's very cheesy and comical. There's a urinal in their bathroom.
That's the matter. This is a girls' dorm, and that is clearly not for girls.
Which is a natural way to kind of talk about how PCA was all boys at first, and it's only been this year that they announced all girls. We essentially get a moment with each character learning about Dana.
Dana was bad, man. Quinn. All of them.
Being this tough to deal with.
That one. But that's my stuff.
As I gotten older, right? The bottom bunk is the best. Because everybody used to say, oh yeah, I want the top so that I can see the room. Nigga, it don't matter. I mean, it really don't matter. But the bottom one is the best. It's easier access. I got to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. I don't have to step away, climb all the way down, use the bathroom. I can just get up and go. And just eat more. It's just better though. Now, depending on the weight size, if I did have a 300-pound roommate, nigga, you're going on the bottom because you're not about to kill me on the top. So
I'll be moving.
that just depends.
Nicole is this boy crazy girl.
Except use those urinal thingies, which apparently they don't sit on.
Zoe is the most blank person I've ever seen. She is perfect to project onto because she is exactly what every episode needs her to be.
Oh no, that's my bud Jim. What's up, Jim?
What's up, Jim? I like Jim.
Yeah, Jim's good people.
She sees that the guys are playing basketball and wants to join, but they meet Logan, who says they can't join because they're girls. Exactly what you would expect to when you walk into a dormitory like this.
I mean, that's true. Because what are you going to do? How are we going to play against y'all? That doesn't even make any sense. And I don't know if I'm lagging. I hope I'm not lagging. All right, I think we're good, though. I don't want to restart this, but that's just the thing. How are we going to play against y'all? We can't be too rough. If we lose to y'all going to be yapping. If we win against y'all, you're going to be crying. So how can this work? That don't even make any sense. But with me, hey, I'm getting ankle break. Yeah, they can call me Kyrie/Shaq because that's all I'm going to do. Back down the post, depending on the goal height. It don't, because, I can jump pretty high. Depending on the goal height. And just...
Good.
That's it.
Why not?
You're on.
See you here.
Want to make out?
No.
Zoe ends up challenging him to a game, girls versus boys, but none of the girls are into it. And they're kind of annoyed that she signed him up for that, which I would be too, Zoe. Like, I don't have to play sports. They're pretty set that they won't win, but they try it anyway, which is bold enough for me.
And the game's not so bright. So we're gonna practice hard and we're gonna win.
The game is really funny. We get like a little glimpse of each of the girls. And Logan plays dirty and actually pushes Zoe over, which sucks because apparently Zoe...
If you was my teammate, to be honest with you, I'm putting you in the headlock because you're not getting out. You know better than that. They're women. You can't be too rough on them. If you did that, I'm telling you, we both getting ejected.
Zoe ends up getting back in the game and being really good at it. How? Meanwhile, her brother Dustin is watching but too embarrassed to cheer for the girls, but gets over it by the end, which is really sweet. After the girls lose, you think it's like a negative ending, but then the coach is like, yeah, we should definitely have girls on the team because of how good they are.
Coach, are you seriously gonna put a girl on our team?
Hey, you catch on quick for a guy.
Which is a good ending. I don't know why all the adults in this show are blonde so far, though. You can't argue that that's building the world. The boys show up to their celebration party, and it becomes a lot more about unity between boys and girls, which is a really good premise. It sucks where the show goes from here. They end up decorating the urinal, and it kind of looks like a shrine in a really religious way, but I do think it's very cute. The overall message, like never quit and girls could be just as good as boys, is a really strong premise for a pilot. Like this pilot is really strong. Does it compare to the other teen shows? Honestly, I think this is a lot better. If you only showed me this pilot, I'd be like, wow, this is a really promising show. It
Somehow, some way, they only won by 1 point. That doesn't make any sense.
Definitely became more of a Flanderization of itself and or too quirky to actually follow a plot, let alone its original premise of girls attending a boys' dormitory. But I feel like when we actually lean into that premise is when the show is at its best.
What's this?
It's cool that they have this whole thing about Zoe wanting to be on the team, but the fact that this never comes up again in the season is kind of weird. I feel like the show would have been a lot stronger if it was more about her trying to be involved in sports and dealing with the sex.
To be honest with you, I will only be there for the women and the sports. That's it. That's literally all. I'm telling you.
Issues of the place, but at least we still kind of keep that through line. With Victorious, they have a kind of similar structure. In a broad scope of things, it's a girl going to a new place, feels way over her head, fish out of water, even down to the big showcase in Tori, where she inevitably succeeds in her showcase, but doesn't necessarily want to go to the school. And Zoe wants to be on the basketball team, but doesn't succeed at the game. It's a really good pilot structure of having a loss and a win in the same episode to kind of see what the characters would do in both scenarios. And I don't know who paid for this soundtrack, but the song playing in the basketball scene is like super expensive. I don't know why you would pick that. I like that there's a little bit more backstory in Zoe 101 as opposed to Hollywood Arts is just kind of a school with arts kids. Like there's no conflict, there's nothing that they're actually walking into. Yet
oh man, sorry about telling you, if we was in the same school, it's over. Just talk. Felt out you I gotta do though. I mean, it don't really matter to me. Trina or Tori or Jade or Kat, even though she got loose screws, literally, I mean, it don't really matter.
In PCA, it's previously been an all-boys school. I feel like Zoe 101 leans more toward drama, but this is what bugs me. It's so much more comedic in its plot structure to be a drama. Like, they act like they have to take these elements seriously, but they don't really bring them up or make them a huge part of the plot. They just want the characters to be in these specific situations. And since they're not like comedic based, they're just kind of like basic storylines, as opposed to like Victorious, who commits to the location and talks about acting and singing, and that's the whole point of the school. It's like an art school. And since it's a comedy, I guess it feels more free to make wacky plot lines, which just shows me that Zoe 101 should have just been a comedy. They should have just committed to it instead of trying to give this serious plot lines with funny characters. I just don't understand why they're so similar. At the beginning of Victorious, we see Tori Vega and this random guy. Who is this guy? He like never comes back, even as a background character. And Tori's like quirky right off the start. She starts talking about this big showcase at Trina's school, and she arrives and she's kind of like Dustin. She's like the brother or sister character, except
I've never really looked at the house. The house is good. It's a nice little layout, man.
Trina's a lot more negative. These characters in this show are really negative, as opposed to Zoe 101. At least they have an empathetic place to start with, and they're brought together by a common goal of like getting girls comfortable in this new boarding school. While Hollywood Arts, like, it's kind of all for yourself and nobody's helping Tori except for Andre. Andre and Tori have such good chemistry. Like, I wish the show was kind of more about their duo relationship. Like, I don't know why it needs to be about Tori so much. Trina kind of reminds me of Logan's part in the pilot, where at first it's kind of like the enemy, but inevitably gives in. But like, Trina remains the motivation for Tori to prove herself and wanting to get into Hollywood Arts. Same thing with Zoe wanting to prove herself that she belongs at PCA with Logan. Tori fills in for Trina when she's sick at this big showcase and proves that she's a really talented artist, despite the fact that she's not as...
I wouldn't be scared to perform. I mean, I just don't know, like, what song to sing. That's it. And even then, I already told y'all, like, I can't, because every time I try to speak high, my throat hurts. So it hurts when I try to sing high. So I can't really do that. So, yeah.
As weird as everybody else, which is weird because it's like, oh, she's relatable because she's normal, and everybody else in the world is weird. I don't know if that's a good premise. So while Victorious has the big showcase, Zoe has the basketball game where the main characters have to prove themselves. I feel like Victorious is kind of like the Zoe 101 pilot fit into just the first act and using the rest of the episode to show us around Hollywood Arts, unlike Zoe 101, which is the opposite. We see PCA at first, then we have the big basketball game, which is the conflict. Victorious is a little bit stronger because it throws you into the action and then kind of like unravels the explanations, as opposed to the early story structure where it's like, oh, you have to walk.
Alright, let's see if y'all OGs. I guarantee y'all don't know how Trina got in. Let me give y'all a second. How did Trina get in? Exactly, you don't know. So, Trina got in because Sakowicz took this expired coconut milk, I think, And then it just gave him hallucinations, making Trina sound better and dance better. That's how she got it, even though she don't know how to sing at all or dance.
Walk through this person's day and one by one introduce every character and do this before you actually get into things. The closest part to Victorious having a grounded moral is when Tori asks if she's not good enough. And it's like, I wish she had like more vulnerable moments like this, because then it's just wacky after it. Like Zoe 101 is good at having those vulnerable moments, character-driven scenes where Zoe is trying to fit in, cares about her friends and or the people around her, as opposed to Victorious, which does not do any of that. Like, and the scene where Tori is challenged by Jade. Like, they do an improv class, and she feels horrible about this. And
you're not doing that in front of me. You're not. There's no way. First, I'm not even going to get on all fours. That's inhumane. That's number one. And you pour coffee on me? On my head. Okay. We both getting expelled then.
And Jade
that's just on the first episode.
And all the characters seem kind of parallel to each other in a way that like you wouldn't expect.
No, it don't matter if we acting. I'm gonna be like, No, we're not acting no more. Cut the cameras.
Until you're watching this back. Like, Zoe is 100% like Tori Vega because they're just bland people with basic goals that kind of set up the structure for everybody else to be weird and funny. And while it works for a comedy like Victorious, it's a little less appealing for a drama like Zoe 101, where you really gotta follow the character. And Zoe doesn't really stick to a lot of her personality traits. Dana is exactly like Liz Gilly's character, Jade, where it's just this like heartless character that you get a glimpse of who they really are all
I like my women mean though. I like them mean. That's good.
The time.
Look, I wanted my own room, but they said I'm required to share, so I guess I'm stuck with you two.
Hey, I read on the internet that coffee works great for getting rid of fur bugs.
Maybe you shouldn't, Jade.
And Nicole is exactly like Kat, but instead of being boy crazy, Kat is more just regular crazy. How do you go from doing Zoe 101, having such thorough characters, and move on to a new show, make the characters worse, but the overall production better? It's just so weird. Chase is like a really bad Robbie and Andre combined. Like, he's loyal and caring, but he's wacky and quirky and like to a fault. And I feel like if Robbie got more plot lines like Chase from Zoe 101, he would be a lot better of a character. But it just feels like an ensemble piece in Victorious. And they're coming from the same place, like it's a main character driven show. So why do the characters have to be worse? Trina convinces Tori to join Hollywood Arts, which is supposed to be a really sweet moment. Kind of like how Dustin and Zoe have a little resolve with their gender differences, but it's quickly dismissed when we reveal that Trina actually wants it for selfish reasons. The show kind of reminds me of like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like all negative characters, and I never realized how negative they got until I compared it to Zoe 101, a show that's like kind of like a less evolved version of it. Like, I feel like Victorious is like, oh, imagine the Zoe 101 writers can do whatever they want on a TV show. You don't have to worry about being smart or structured, like just go off and do your own creative best. And Victorious is wacky and it's admirable at some points, but I feel like Zoe 101 fits in the structure and makes it actually worth watching. These two shows are so much more alike than I ever thought. Oh my gosh, can you imagine like a crossover? Well, I mean, Victoria Justice being on Zoe 101 really does take you out of it, but we had to look at this like from an outside perspective. I'm diving deeper into Zoe 101 Season 1, so keep an eye out for that video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and for more 2000s content, don't forget to...
I don't know why every time I try to pause it, it's like a delay. I don't know. See, look. You see how slow it's going? Tell me. Oh, hold on. See, it's still going slow. I'm telling you. W video, man. Clap it up. Well, y'all team Zoe, y'all team Victorious. That's hard. I don't know. Man. Okay, which theme song better? Zoe 101 theme song that clears. I forgot. You ready? It was like, are you ready? Ooh. I know you see me standing here. Do I look good, my dear? Do I look good today? Hey, come on. I was saying my whole song right now. But yeah, man. Love you.